The World Health Organization calls it essential medicine. Surgeons have trusted it since 1839. It kills bacteria, it kills viruses, it kills fungi, it kills spores. It costs $1. And the FDA just made it harder to get. Americans spend billions every year on prescription antibiotics. Bacteria are learning to resist them. Meanwhile, a single 16-ounce bottle of iodine tincture costs $1 to $3. One bottle provides hundreds of wound treatments. It can purify hundreds of liters of water. And bacteria have never developed resistance to it. Not once, not in 190 years. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to use this $1 bottle for wound treatment, water purification, and why the government restricted it. To understand how we got here, you need to know what iodine actually does and why nothing else can replace it. If you believe the most important survival knowledge should not require prescription or a government license, you are in the right place. This channel exists for one reason: to recover practical knowledge that has been buried, ignored, or regulated into obscurity. Not through fear, not through speculation, through documents. Everything in this video is sourced from Federal Register entries, WHO publications, and peer-reviewed medical journals. We name the studies, we name the dates, we name the agencies. If that sounds like the kind of research you want showing up in your feed every week, subscribe now. You will not get hype. You will get sources. Let us start where the science starts. 1811, the coast of France. A chemist named Bernard Courtois was extracting sodium compounds from seaweed ash. He added sulfuric acid. A violet vapor rose from the mixture. It condensed into dark metallic crystals. Courtois had just isolated a new element. He did not fully understand what he had found. But within a decade, the medical world would. By 1820, a physician named Jean-François Coindet in Geneva discovered that this new element could treat goiter. Swollen thyroid glands shrank. Patients recovered. It was one of the first targeted chemical therapies in modern medicine. Then came Jean-Guillaume Auguste Lugol. In 1829, he formulated a solution of elemental iodine and potassium iodide in water. Lugol's solution became one of the most widely used medical preparations of the 19th century. It treated infections. It treated thyroid conditions. It became a staple of clinical practice across Europe. But the moment that changed surgery forever came in 1908. A Croatian surgeon named Antonio Grosic introduced preoperative skin disinfection with iodine tincture. Before Grosic, surgical site infections were routine. After Grosic, infection rates collapsed. His method spread across every surgical theater in Europe within years. It was simple: paint the skin with iodine before cutting. The results were undeniable. By the 1950s, a chemist named H.A. Schlansky developed povidone iodine, marketed as betadine. It combined iodine with a polymer carrier that reduced irritation while maintaining antimicrobial power. Purdue Frederick acquired it in 1966. Betadine became the global standard for surgical antisepsis. It remains so today. Think about that timeline. 1811 to the present day. Iodine survived the arrival of antibiotics. It survived the invention of synthetic antiseptics. It survived decades of regulatory review. It outlasted every medical trend of 2 centuries. And in 1993, the World Health Organization placed it on the list of essential medicines, where it remains today, recognized across more than 155 countries. So a substance with nearly 2 centuries of surgical use, endorsed by the WHO, used in every hospital on the planet. What could possibly go wrong? The answer involves 2 federal agencies, a drug war, and a regulatory process that has been grinding for over 40 years. What we are covering today is one item, one element, one bottle. But this channel's research archive, the vault, contains the full breakdown on dozens of items like this one, each one sourced, each one priced, each one with step-by-step instructions, water purification methods, wound care protocols, shelf-stable nutrition, radiation preparedness, grid-down medical knowledge, no fluff, no filler. Every item verified against the same standard you are seeing right now. The link is in the description. Stay here for the full story on this one, including the exact dosages, the exact method, and the one limitation most people get wrong. Now, let us talk about why iodine works at the molecular level, and why that mechanism is the single most important thing that separates it from every antibiotic in your medicine cabinet. Antibiotics typically attack bacteria through one pathway. One mechanism, one target. That is why bacteria can develop resistance, mutate the target, survive the drug. It is evolution in miniature, and it is winning. Iodine does not work that way. Iodine is a multimodal killer. It attacks cell walls. It disrupts amino acids. It damages nucleotides. It oxidizes fatty acids. It hits the pathogen from 4 directions simultaneously. There is no single mutation that defeats it. A bacterium would need to redesign its entire biochemistry at once. That has not happened. Not in 190 years of continuous clinical use. The Journal of Hospital Infection published studies confirming that povidone iodine is effective at concentrations as low as 0.5%. That is a fraction of the standard 10% solution you buy at the pharmacy. The European Wound Management Association issued position papers supporting iodine for chronic wound management. Hand-washing studies have demonstrated that povidone iodine is superior to chlorhexidine for killing viruses on skin contact. And the kill list is staggering. Gram-positive bacteria, gram-negative bacteria, viruses including HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and coronaviruses, fungi, protozoa, bacterial spores. No single antibiotic on Earth matches that breadth. No antiseptic at any price matches it either. Bacteria have never developed resistance to iodine, not once. In an era when antibiotic resistance is being called a global health emergency, that fact alone should make iodine front-page news. It has not, and the reason is not scientific. So if iodine works this well, costs this little, and has been proven this long, well, why is it not in every medicine cabinet in America? The answer is a story about methamphetamine, bureaucracy, and a regulatory process that has been grinding for 4 decades. 2 federal agencies created the problem. Neither one intended to target iodine, but their overlapping actions squeezed it from both sides. Start with the DEA. In 1993, the DEA began regulating hydriodic acid, a precursor chemical used in methamphetamine production. In 1996, Congress passed the Comprehensive Methamphetamine Control Act, expanding precursor chemical restrictions. Then in 2005, the Combat Methamphetamine Epidemic Act tightened controls further. In 2007, the DEA published its final rule, placing iodine itself on the List 1 chemical registry at concentrations above 2.2%. Lugal's solution received a narrow exemption for quantities of 1 fluid ounce or less. The target was meth labs. The collateral damage was a 200-year-old medicine. Now the FDA. In 1994, the FDA classified iodine-based antiseptics as Category 1 in its over-the-counter drug monograph review. Category 1 means generally recognized as safe and effective. That was the FDA's own determination, based on its own review. Then, in 2013, the FDA issued a proposed rule on consumer antiseptic washes. In 2015, a separate proposed rule on healthcare antiseptics. Both rules required manufacturers to submit new safety and efficacy data for active ingredients, including iodine. In 2017, the FDA deferred its decision on iodine. In 2018, the FDA issued a final rule banning 24 antiseptic ingredients. Iodine was not among them. It was not banned. It was deferred, placed in regulatory limbo. And here is the part that should concern you. The American Cleaning Institute, the industry trade group responsible for coordinating the required studies, admitted in 2020 that reduced funding and diminished laboratory capacity were making study completion timelines unreliable. The studies the FDA demanded have not been completed, not because evidence of harm exists, because no one will pay for them. Iodine is too cheap. It cannot be patented. No pharmaceutical company earns enough from a $1 bottle to justify spending millions on regulatory compliance studies. The system created a burden it cannot fund to resolve. Meanwhile, branded chlorhexidine surgical preparations cost significantly more per application. Prescription antibiotics generate recurring revenue. Commercial water purification systems sell for hundreds of dollars. All of them face a competitive threat from a substance that costs $1 and cannot be monopolized. No single corporation is suppressing iodine. The dynamic is structural. An unpatentable substance with no profit engine has no advocate inside a system that runs on industry-funded data. Now, before anyone tells you iodine is banned, let me be completely clear about what you can and cannot buy right now, today, legally. If you are the kind of person who reads the actual Federal Register instead of the headline, hit subscribe. We do this every week. Sourced, cited, no panic. Just documents and practical knowledge. Now, let me be honest with you about what iodine cannot do. Thyroid effects are real in extreme use cases. Burn patients receiving iodine over large body surface areas have experienced thyroid disruption. Neonates with immature thyroid function are at elevated risk. These are clinical extremes. They are not normal wound care, but you should know they exist. The allergic sensitization rate to iodine is approximately 0.7%. That is low, but it is not zero. If you have never used iodine topically, test a small area first. Iodine tincture contains alcohol. It will sting on deep or open wounds. For sensitive applications, povidone iodine is the gentler option. Never combine iodine with hydrogen peroxide. They neutralize each other, one or the other, not both. Non-sterile iodine preparations carry a documented risk of Burkholderia cepacia contamination. Use sealed, commercially prepared solutions. And here's the honest concession. For the specific task of prepping skin before a surgical incision in a fully supplied hospital, chlorhexidine alcohol may be the superior choice. Studies support that narrow conclusion. But iodine's value was never about operating rooms with full supply chains. It is about the field, the grid-down scenario, the $3 bottle that does 3 jobs when nothing else is available. Now let me show you exactly how to use it. Wound antisepsis with 10% povidone iodine. Clean the wound with clean water first. Apply 10% povidone iodine solution directly to the wound area. Maintain contact for a minimum of 2 minutes. For sensitive skin or larger wound areas, dilute 1 part povidone iodine with 9 parts clean water to create an approximately 1% available iodine solution. Allow to air dry. Reapply once to twice daily. Expect amber staining, it washes out. 1 bottle provides dozens of treatments. Wound antisepsis with 2% iodine tincture. Use on minor wounds only. The alcohol base makes this unsuitable for deep or large open wounds. For direct application on intact skin surrounding a wound, apply with a clean cloth or cotton. For wound irrigation, dilute 1 part tincture with 10 parts clean water. This reduces both the iodine concentration and the alcohol content. Maintain 2-minute contact time. Expect staining. It is temporary. Water purification with 2% iodine tincture. For clear water, add 5 drops per liter. For cloudy or turbid water, add 10 drops per liter. Allow a minimum contact time of 30 minutes at room temperature. For cold water, extend contact time to 60 minutes. The water will have a slight iodine taste and amber tint. Both are harmless. One critical limitation. Iodine at standard field concentrations is not reliably effective against cryptosporidium. If cryptosporidium contamination is suspected, filtration or boiling is required, in addition to chemical treatment. For long-term water purification use exceeding several weeks, be aware of cumulative thyroid iodine loading. This is a consideration, not a prohibition. Monitor and rotate purification methods if extended use is necessary. Stockpiling guidance. Store iodine tincture and povidone iodine in their original sealed containers, away from direct light and heat. Shelf life for sealed commercial preparations is typically 3 to 5 years, often longer. Stock both tincture and betadine. They serve different roles. Add potassium iodide tablets for radiation thyroid protection. That is a third capability from the same element. Legal status. 2% iodine tincture and povidone iodine products are legal, unrestricted, and available at any pharmacy in the United States today. No prescription, no special license. Walk in, buy it. It will cost you between $1 and $3. Let me bring this all together. 1 chemical element, discovered in 1811, proven in surgery by 1908, placed on the WHO Essential Medicines list in 1993. Used in every surgical suite on Earth today, never once defeated by bacterial resistance. 3 survival capabilities from 1 bottle: wound antisepsis, water purification, and through potassium iodide, radiation thyroid protection. No single antibiotic matches that. No commercial filter matches that. No product at any price provides all 3. The WHO calls it essential. The military stocks it in combat medic kits across NATO. Hospitals use it every single day. And it is still sitting on the shelf at your local pharmacy for $1. The regulatory story is not about danger. It is about a system that cannot process a substance too cheap to fund its own paperwork. The DEA was chasing methamphetamine. The FDA was modernizing monographs. And Iodine, with no corporate sponsor and no patent holder, got caught in the middle. You now know more about this substance than most physicians are taught in medical school. You know the history, you know the mechanism, you know the regulatory timeline, you know the dosages, you know the limitations, and you know where to buy it this afternoon. Send this video to one person who does not know. That is how practical knowledge survives. Not through institutions, through people who share it. Next week, we open the vault on another item that costs almost nothing, does almost everything, and has been quietly pushed to the margins. You will want to see that one. Subscribe so you do not miss it.